got a gun, got a big gun, got a gun, it's not a real one, and all you ever think about is running away, all you ever think about is trying to stay away from me.
That music always gets me pumped up.
Yeah, listen, it's a happy song.
And it works, too, because it's like there's just enough words that it goes into this instrumental part. And right here, we go into it. Tick-tock, look at the clock. We're ready to go.
It's perfect.
And then I tune it on out.
Fade it out, man.
God.
Fade to black.
Just perfect. For those of you wondering, that music is a band called Kevin and the Octaves. They're based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. But, of course, they're on iTunes and all that kind of stuff. They've had their music in a bunch of movies and cool dudes. The guy that's singing and I believe playing drums, and he might play another instrument on that recording as well. But his name is Eric. He owns Moonlight Studios, which is, I think, one of the best studios in the area in Dayton, Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
It's just incredible. No, I mean, listen, I've been to a lot of studios, so no, I'm not talking shit about them. It's just his studio is amazing, and they've had some really good acts, and it's on bass. The Wonder Years, for those of you who like pop punk.
Oh, okay,
The
true.
Wonder
I've heard
Years
of that
recorded
band.
there.
Yeah.
Mixtapes does every single one of their albums there.
Oh.
So yeah, it's cool. There's a record label out of Cincinnati called Nice Guy. They do all their records there. So awesome studio. So Eric, reach out to Moonlight Studios if you're local and you want to record some music. The rates are incredibly reasonable.
Nice.
While
Moonlight.
we're plugging stuff, Fred, want to, in the offset here, man, plug your Twitter and anything else?
Yeah.
Anything else you just want to plug?
Yeah, just come find me on Twitter. That's the biggest one, right? Kirby_MMA, and then you will get content from other podcasts and all the other bullshit that I'm doing.
You do have another podcast.
Yeah. I do some local shit called the Gym City Jesus podcast.
But it's, it's not just local.
No, yeah.
You have local people, but you talk
yeah.
about the world.
Yeah, current topics, musical shit. We talk about everything non-MMA related. I always wanted to do a podcast that had nothing to do with MMA because I do so many different type of MMA related projects. Like, there's a lot of other shit to discuss.
And if I can say so myself, for one, they're good. I've listened to them, of course.
Thank you.
You can, if you subscribe to me on SoundCloud, you can look me up at LoudMouth MMA. Anytime he posts an episode, I share it on SoundCloud, so you should be able to find it there.
Appreciate that.
And also, sound quality is fantastic.
Listen,
we have very similar setups.
I learned from the best, man. I was inspired by your whole little setup here.
Yeah, I'm glad, man, because it sounds really good, and you guys do a good job.
And we've talked about this on the podcast before, so we won't go into it. But it's important. Sound
It
quality.
is,
When you're
man.
doing a podcast, they can't see our pretty faces, so they need to be able to hear us clearly.
Yep.
If you can't, you can throw the whole damn podcast
Well,
away.
for me, I got a face for radio to begin with, so I got to make sure that I really make sure that that's top notch.
Listen, but you got haters, though, man. The moment you go on, people are like, "You're disgusting, Kyle."
Right?
I'd rather have that than people be indifferent. You know, at least you're popular in one way or another. People fucking find you to hate on you. That's a thing. That's important.
I had somebody yesterday. It's like, what?
At least
it
they
comes
care.
out of nowhere.
At least
it's
they
people
care.
I don't know. I imagine it's one particular person who's listening right now. I know that you're listening. It's the weirdest fucking thing in the world that you're listening right now. It's super creepy, but I know that you're listening, and it's probably you. It's probably you who has multiple profiles. It's the weirdest thing in the world. I feel stalked. Feels very stalked, and it's very creepy. All right. Let's get into the news. There's an incredible amount of news that came out in the last couple days. I want to start.
Where do we start?
We record this on Sunday mornings, for those of you wondering. So we are recording this Sunday the 14th.
Right.
Tonight is UFC St. Louis.
Okay.
We had 2 fights fall off the card.
Right.
So, we want to keep these topical, but we also want them to be a little bit long-lasting.
Okay.
So we're not going to talk about the fights in specific. But both fights were pulled kind of for the same reason, but in very different circumstances.
I would not say the same reason at all, to be honest with you, because I okay. God damn it. Let's just get the fuck into it. Which one do you want to talk about first?
The first fight that got canceled was Zach Cummins and Thiago I always mispronounce
Thiago
Alves.
That's the most Brazilian name of all time.
Thiago
Alves.
I don't know why that messes with my mouth, but it really does. Thiago Alves.
You know it.
As for those of you wondering who haven't already heard this, I grew up with a speech impediment. So there's certain like phrases or words that really, even though it doesn't mess with the R's and the S's and the Z's that I had a speech impediment for, that one for some reason, the way I have to use my mouth, Tiago Alves, it's weird. It messes with me.
You know? Hearing you sit there and butcher his name over and over again has
inspired you?
No, it's dawned on me.
Do you feel inspired?
I just had an epiphany.
Okay, sure.
I realized what happened.
Sure.
Okay. This is karma.
Sure.
Hello, karma. That's you.
Mike Perry already said that.
Tiago Alves has been dropping out of fights and fucking people for years, not making weight and pulling this bullshit.
Listen,
karma came through and slid Zach Cummins on his head. Man. That's the only fucking because we were just talking about this when we were walking down the steps. I'm like, listen,
a freak. I think it was a freak accident.
You better capitalize the freak in that because I'm not calling the boy a liar. But when you are a grown man and you are, when this happened, a week ago, 4 days ago, or something like that?
Now, before you go hard, because you're about to go hard, before you go hard, okay?
All right.
I'm not trying to be weird, but I had a member of my family actually pass away in this same manner. So it's not. This is a thing that happens.
Okay.
He was getting out of the tub. This is from what I heard. He was getting out of the tub and he slipped and he cracked his head on the middle bar for the towel thing. So like our house for instance.
Okay.
Our walls are made out of slate.
Okay.
It's not drywall. It is slate walls.
What are your floors made out of? Linoleum? I mean, I'm trying not to be a cunt here, but what the fuck?
He slipped. I don't think he touched the floor. He slipped getting out of the tub. That is a normal. Come on, you've never slipped.
Don't you guys got bath mats or some shit? There's things you just step,
Fred.
Your disgusting wet fucking clammy toes right onto the linoleum. Listen, I guess
but we believe that my family member actually had a heart attack, and that's what caused them to fall.
Right. I was gonna say
what I think caused the death was the head trauma. It was the hitting the head and. You know what? She hit her head on the towel dispenser.
I want to see pictures of Zach Cummins' bathroom. I feel like a homicide detective. I want to see the trajectory that he had to fall at. And listen, but no,
I don't even know if that's even the true story. That's just what I had heard.
Well, right, that's what I've heard too. Basically, he was getting out of the bathtub and fucking slipped and bumped his head, literally. Yeah. But what I find interesting is he cracked his skull.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That sounds like some Tito Ortiz shit or some Mike Tyson talking about boxing with a broken back. I don't understand how you break your skull. How far do you have to fall? I mean, I realize it's metal and shit, but your fucking skull getting cracked? Am I alone on this? Like, isn't your skull supposed to be fucking super hard? Super thick? Like,
I mean, yes, but at the same time, again, it is all
just timing and
I would say it's not even like I wouldn't even classify this as a freak thing. It's a level below freak.
I want to say I think it's a level above
this
freak.
Is something that like
with a cracked skull.
Yes.
Jesus Christ, Kyle, where are they falling from? Get the fuck out of here.
Listen, some people fall. There is a woman that survived falling from an airplane 35,000 feet. Literally fell out of a plane in Russia, 35,000 feet, no parachute, hit the side of a mountain and lived.
Okay. God damn it.
Shit just happens.
Bullshit, Kyle. Shit don't happen. That fucking old Russian hoe hit that fucking mountain at the perfect trajectory, and she probably hit a tree or two first.
Did you just say that old Russian hoe?
I assume she's Russian.
No, she is. I believe she was Russian.
Of course she was.
Not sure if she was a hoe or not.
She's fucking Fedor's cousin. She probably tucked and rolled right the last minute. There's no fucking way somebody falls 35,000 feet and doesn't end up a pancake.
Oh my gosh. Fred, you're on that juice today, man.
Listen, I haven't even talked about the one I'm really passionate about yet. This next one is the one that really gets my gills gizzard.
Your gills gizzard.
I don't know what that even means.
I don't know what it means, but I love
I'm fucking getting fired up.
Okay.
But Zach Cummins slips, hit his head, cracks his skull.
So Zach Cummins, this is actually what he said. All right. He was responding to somebody. He said, I'm absolutely devastated, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read the whole thing.
It's just a tweet, right?
He goes, one of the best cuts I've had and slipped while moving from the tub to the ground and cracked my skull on a handrail. Oh, so it's not a towel dispenser. Okay, that's a little different. So in some tubs, there's like if you get in the tub, you grab the handrails to help lift yourself up. They put them in for like older people.
Okay.
So that's a lot. Those are massive. Those are big.
Okay, I can kind
Those are big knocking handrails. So
right.
he's actually in the tub itself, and as he's getting out, he slipped. My foot goes out from under him. He probably cracked his head on that thick little. That's a little different.
Yeah. That's a little bit more viable. That's a little bit more viable. It's still some fucking horrible luck, man, to fall so hard to crack your dome piece.
When I said I wasn't necessarily going to classify it as like freak or whatever, it's because like that happens to a lot of people. You're in a wet bathroom. I mean, you slip.
The accident itself may happen a lot,
but how hard he had to fucking hit that?
Yeah, and at the angle probably
more
just being yeah, exactly. That you crack your fucking skull doing that is I would imagine a pretty fucking freak deal. What the fuck?
Yeah, and he said, I'm in the ER now. This was a day ago, of course. He goes, I'm in the ER now figuring out stitches or staples.
Jesus Christ.
He has not said whether the CAT scan, I assume the CAT scan came back and he was fine. I'd imagine.
Right. But listen, at the end of the day, I believe Zach Cummins and
oh yeah, there's no reason to doubt him.
Yeah, right. I do believe him and shit. So
and trust me, Mike Perry already took the time out to be like, Karma's a bitch, buddy.
I didn't even think about that until you was saying that he was fighting Tiago.
Karma's a bitch,
I was
buddy.
thinking like, yeah, Tiago, that sucks, doesn't it, buddy? Well, because actually, do you have anything to add? Are we done with this?
No, I mean, like I said, we'll talk about moving on to the next person, which is Uriah Hall, who apparently, while on his way to weigh in, had a seizure.
Right.
And, apparently was, pretty scary, and he got in an ambulance, went to the hospital. I haven't heard anything since. While you're talking, I'll look it up to see if there's any updates. But neither one of us, and I mean, whatever, I don't really care what people think anyway, but just to be clear, neither one of us are making light of, this is a very, very dangerous thing that these fighters do in cutting weight.
Sure.
And, we can sit back and talk about how people shouldn't be doing it, this and that, but at the same time, if guys are cutting down 50 pounds and getting into a cage, and you decide not to cut, it means that you could potentially be going into fights where someone outweighs you by 70 pounds. Because you're not cutting weight.
That's a pretty extreme case, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, of course it's extreme, but you know what I mean. Like,
sure.
if you're not cutting, if you're not cutting weight, chances are you're going to be going into the octagon with someone who's outweighing you by at least 30 pounds.
Right,
and that's normal. That's not even crazy. That's just normal that someone's going to outweigh you by 30 pounds on fight day if you're not cutting weight. So it's like there's a level of danger just in that because you're fighting bigger people who are going to have a higher propensity of knocking you out in other things. So it's like, but listen, some people find success moving up in weight.
Right.
Others find success moving down in weight. I mean, look at Josh Emmett.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's all individualistic.
It's all subjective. It's all based on that person, and none of us are going to make light of it, but something has got to change.
Yeah.
Something has got to change.
For sure, man. We've had the whole and so here's the thing with this, right, too, when it comes down to like weight cutting and shit like that. First off, let me start by saying this. Nothing will ever change with this. I liken this weight cut issue a lot with the steroids thing. Because nothing will change with them. There will always be people that try to take steroids, and there will always be people that try to make extreme weight cuts to sneak into weight divisions that they ain't got no business being in. That will never stop. So, let's just get that out of the way. Nobody's saying that you're going to clean up that period. Because, the nose, fucking Ariel Helwani is always fucking preaching about more weight divisions. You just have pricks trying to cut more weight to go into those divisions. It wouldn't change that much. You would help out a little tiny bit, but I really don't think it would matter that much. If there's more weight divisions, there's just more weight divisions for people to try to cut to get into. That people are going to always try that competitive edge for sure. Now, rewind to Khabib Nurmagomedov. I knew I was going to butcher that one.
Say Khabib.
Yeah, Khabib has fucking notoriously had problems with his weight cuts. This last time, he looked fucking Golden Grams. Made weight easily. Performed amazingly.
Look at, for St. Louis, Look at Michael Johnson.
Exactly.
Cut down to 145. Looked perfectly fine.
Looks great.
He didn't even use the pound allowance. He weighed in right at 145.
My point with Khabib is he has always. So here, this is my point with Khabib. Uriah Hall had given an interview earlier, I think yesterday or the day before, and he had said that his body shut down in training camp, but that he was working through it. And then this happens. Khabib had his body shut down and had to pull out of the first Tony Ferguson fight, I think, or had it shut down going to the Michael.
He went to the hospital.
He suffered from this shit before. My point is he had that much of a weight issue or a problem cutting weight, and then
It still came back.
and made it perfectly. So, all due respect, this isn't a body structure thing. It's a Khabib thing. You're trying to lose too much too quick. You're not eating right in between.
Well, see, look, he gets a good nutritionist, a renowned nutritionist, and he's perfectly fine.
Exactly.
Which means, again, you can cut the weight.
Exactly.
You're just not doing it properly.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so ultimately,
Well, and with Uriah Hall, by the way, I did just look it up. It was kidneys. So his kidney shut down.
Listen.
They got everything back. He didn't have to get any surgeries or anything. He's in stable condition. But, yeah, his kidney shut down, which you see that a lot.
Same job.
Cutting water.
Same job. Same job. Exactly. And, okay, so here's my point with this, man. I don't know what you do about this because, again, there's no cure-all. There's nothing that will just fix this problem. And like I said, I am going to link these two things together. Steroid, drug fucking performance enhancement drugs and weight cutting, not making weight for shit like this. Listen, I feel terrible for Uriah Hall. Nobody wants to see anything majorly bad happen to these guys and girls physically, for sure. That being said, that's your fucking fault. And we and the organization just got fucked out of the fight. Listen, these fights are on what, Fox Sports 1?
And listen, and here's the thing. Again, and I agree with you entirely because, again, not making light of anything.
No,
but check it out. You could have cut a bunch of weight a month ago.
Exactly.
Walked around a lot lighter than you ever normally would and still kept training. Listen, that's going to affect your fight, but it's going to make sure that you don't have your body shut down.
Exactly.
There are things that you could do to
make that weight.
To set yourself up and put yourself in a better position. That is what I believe Khabib did. Khabib basically
that's
started,
what he did.
Started walking around like 15 pounds lighter than he normally does.
Sure. He just we all make the jokes about tiramisu. It's not fucking tiramisu, but it's him not eating properly. And who knows? Maybe he's out fucking Russian whores and fucking drinking like a fish when he's in Russia.
That's how that woman got pushed out of the airplane.
It was like Khabib
he was trying to
hammered on
shut
a
her
plane. So, and again, I'm not making any accusations about Uriah Hall, and I don't know what the fuck whether he's eating chocolate cake or whether his body can't just make 85 anymore. I have no inside fucking knowledge about why he didn't make weight, but I know he's made the weight before and looked perfectly fine doing so.
Many times, yeah.
So it's only one or two things. Either A, he fucked up the weight cut somehow, or, which I don't think, he's not that fucking much of a spring chicken, so I can't imagine his body's just grown into the point to where he can't make 185 no more. So more than likely it was his fault. Now, that brings me around to, again, the conversation that we like to have. What do we do about this?
Yeah, how do we fix this?
Tell you what, Jack, I hate baseball.
Okay.
Yep. But I look to baseball for inspiration like this.
Sure. Okay? I have no idea where this is going. I'm excited.
And in baseball, I don't know a whole lot about baseball, but I do know one thing. You get 3 strikes. Right?
I was really hoping that you were going to say something that wasn't true. You're like, listen, I don't know a lot about baseball, but what I do know is
you score. You get 7 points when you hit a touchdown.
Yeah, exactly.
You get 3 strikes, man.
Yep.
And then your ass is out. You're not out of the game in baseball, but you're definitely off that fucking mound for that point in time.
Sure.
I've had enough with the steroids and the cheats, and I've had enough with these fuckers not taking this weight cut shit seriously. And so and damn the money, I say, I got kids, right? I got a 7-year-old daughter and an 11-year-old daughter.
Yep.
Now, the 11-year-old's got old enough to the point where I can throw her a beating, and she don't really mind. She's got enough beatings in her day that she'll take a beating to get some shit,
Yeah.
She got a phone for her birthday this year. If I threaten to take that motherfucker, I got a different kid. You've got to hit people where it hurts. I'm giving you 3 strikes in the new WME era. Unless you're Conor McGregor, in which you get as many strikes as you want.
Yeah,
exactly. You make billions of dollars. But the rest of you cocksuckers get 3 strikes. You get 3 times to fuck me. So have fun. get caught cheating once, take the night off, don't eat some cake, fuck us 3 times. After that, you'll never fight in the UFC again. And that's why I say the UFC, it would not be an MMA thing. The UFC is the NFL of MMA. So I would literally like to see the UFC do this. These are all the same offense. 3 strikes, you're out. You never fight in the UFC again. You're fucking banned.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's how you deal with people who are failing to get to fights. Now, would you treat the same thing as people who pull out of fights a week before because of an injury?
I would probably put like
here's the thing.
I would probably put like a 2 to 3 week window there where I don't give a shit whether you're on steroids.
You're supposed to be at a fight, and if within a 3-week window you miss the fight, unless it is a natural fucking disaster.
Sure.
Like,
there's always exceptions to.
And
right?
listen, if you get into a car accident and it's because you fell asleep at the wheel,
right,
you're still
it's
getting
on
penalized.
You. Right.
And a drunk driver needed to have T-boned you,
right,
and that's why you can't be there.
Whose fucking house was it that caught on fire? The prick escaped out the window.
Sure.
I forget who it was.
It was Henry Cejudo.
Yeah, there it was Henry, and he fucking fought and won. Looked great. Listen, if Henry Cejudo's fucking house can catch on fire and he can break his ankle jumping out the window and fight 2 weeks later, I don't want to hear shit from nobody else on the roster. If you can't come up realistically with a 3-week time frame, that gives us plenty enough time to try to find an alternate.
Listen, there are a lot of issues here. Obviously,
sure. It's harsh,
and there's going to be a lot of.
It's very harsh.
You will inevitably hit those moments where it's like
this is hard.
A guy's getting a strike, and you're like, "Come on, man! He slipped on the stairs. He did this, whatever." And it's like, yeah, but dude, there are talking about Thiago. Shall we go through Thiago's record here in a couple minutes?
God.
And take a look of how many fights that man has pulled out of? It's insane.
He's not the only one.
It's not okay.
He's
it is
one of
not
tons
okay
of
to
guys.
waste people's time like that.
Sure. And the promotion's money. Like, I hate to be the fucking Zuffa zombie. Well, Zuffa's a R.I.P. to Zuffa, but
whatever.
That's
the sentiment
money.
is still great.
That's money, dog. They blew a lot of money promoting this fight. This is the co-main event. This was a big fucking deal, Uriah. This was on you. I don't know what happened. I'm glad you're alive and it didn't cause you no serious bodily damage. But now that we're here and it didn't, your ass is grass.
Listen,
you're in trouble.
The other thing is, it is a sport, and by nature, the sport is in existence because of fans.
Right.
Obviously, you need the fighters.
Sure.
But this isn't a clear-cut chicken or the egg.
Yeah.
No, time out. It is a clear-cut chicken or the egg. It is the fans, and then it is the fighters.
Sure.
Period.
We pay the bills. I mean, we keep the lights on as fans.
Because at the same time, it's like, well, yeah, but there would be no fans without the fighters. Yeah, but guess what? It's more important.
Yep.
It is more important that the people are happy, because the happier the people are, the more money they're spending. The more money they're spending, the higher your paycheck is. And again, you literally could not do this thing if it wasn't for the fans.
Sure. I mean,
and if you didn't exist, the fans would be watching football.
Sure.
So it's not like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
so
right.
this is a clear cut, it's all about the fans.
Yep.
Now, I've said this, and I'll say it, I don't necessarily think fighters owe us anything, right? You get to choose whether or not you participate in this thing. If you don't want to participate in it, then don't.
Right.
And if you have problems with it, stop watching it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you get to make it's capitalism, buddy. You get to make those decisions.
Right.
You're not forced to do any of this.
Right.
But it needs to continue to be fan focused and fan forward, fan facing, I should say.
Sure.
The whole thing needs to be fan facing. And when you have a card, I was looking forward to this card. I could almost give a shit less, even though the 2 fights that dropped off, I don't even really care about.
Right.
But it's just the fact that it's like, it's an 11-fight card.
Yeah.
And it's just,
I really was
just
kind of
bizarre.
I was looking forward.
I was really looking forward to the card, and now it just seems like there's this air of this weird muck that's hanging over it, and I just don't like that. Listen, the card I think is still going to be great, and I'm not saying that it's not going to be. I'm really looking forward to it.
Sure.
Still. But it feels different now.
I was really looking forward
Doesn't it feel different?
Oh, yeah, I definitely.
There's this weird
it's
fog
got,
over
listen,
it now.
I dig what you're saying, and I think that
the 2 fights that got canceled, I don't even care.
Tonight, I think you might, and I guess once people hear this podcast, we will be past what I'm saying is tonight.
I'm gonna upload it right now.
Okay, well, cool. I think that tonight might end up being one of those weird nights where we get some bad reffing decisions, just because, like you said, there is a weird stickiness in the air now.
Man,
so I can see there being controversy in the main event or something like that. It just feels like it's heading for that kind of vibe. I did really want to see Uriah Hall versus Vitor Belfort, though. Losing that fight
it was
doesn't matter.
Vitor's fight, and I was kind of hoping to be Uriah Hall's last fight too.
Did you also see Vitor's interview? on Fox afterwards, like after he found out that Uriah wasn't going to be in the fight. It was only like a minute and a half long. Fuck, dude, he was literally crying tears. He was devastated.
Dude, I mean, he worked his ass off.
Devastated. He's like, fuck, it was a really tough cut for me. I thought this was it. I was, I get here and it's like I can breathe. I'm going to be done with this now. It's my retirement fight. And then this, and he's like, fuck, now I'm seeing all the guys. They're all like excited. He's fucking like literally. I felt like I have not been a massive Vitor supporter over the years.
Kind of.
Holy shit! I felt bad for the old boy, the old cheating cocksucker he is. I'm like, damn, Vitor. He didn't look like he was cheating. Looked all dad botted out. Probably was going to take a fucking thunder kick to the jaw, but he was there to receive it.
Right.
Felt bad for him, man.
Yeah, it's sad.
So yeah,
So here's what ACB does. When people now this isn't, I kind of like your thing with the 3 strikes. Again, well aware, and I'm sure people listening are thinking the same thing. Well aware that it is there's issues there.
Sure,
clearly.
Sure.
And there's going to be controversy and that kind of thing. But I like the sentiment, man. Be harsh.
Yeah, I mean,
listen. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of really harsh punishments in the NFL and stuff.
Sure.
You get one drug failure, you're out for a year. You get a second one, you're out for 2 years.
Right.
And then
you're basically done.
It's not even for sure you can get back in after the 2 years. I mean, it's a big deal.
Well,
they don't fuck around with these things.
And there you go, right? That's what I mean, man. You got to hit them where it hurts. If we do that in the UFC, I bet you motherfuckers. I bet you Kalabib would have got his shit together a long time ago. They'd been like, bro, you're out.
A lot less people pull out of fights.
Yeah.
Now listen. Now, does that also mean that a lot more people are going to be putting themselves into danger because they should have dropped out of a fight that they're now not going to? Sure, but again, that's on you.
I don't give a fuck,
yeah, that's
man.
Not
I
on
mean,
us.
Firefighters risk their lives, Jack, and they get paid like dog shit. I mean, I don't give a fuck. Listen. As a fighter, you've got fucking 2 jobs, man. Make weight and win.
If you're too hurt to fight, then don't fight.
Yeah.
But listen, if you get too hurt to fight, it's 3 weeks left to a fight. Why are you getting hurt like that, man?
I don't. Like I said, I don't give a fuck if you catch the clap. 3 weeks out. Let us know, and we will give you the ability. Man, shit happens in life, man. Maybe you do fucking, going through a divorce or something. Maybe fucking some shit happens, and you're like, bro, I just can't. 3 weeks. Give us 3 weeks. I think that's fair, man. Yeah. And if you're fucking hurt or you're nursing an injury,
there are exceptions. There's
sure.
Inevitably, these like people come in on short notice, like blah blah blah.
Sure.
There's going to be exceptions. There's going to be all this, and we're all fully aware of that. It's going to be a really hard system. But I agree. I think that is something that would make a lot of sense.
Obviously, if somebody pulls out and you got 3 weeks and a guy steps up and you miss weight by 2 fucking pounds, but you're stepping in on short notice, I mean, clearly.
Like Sam Alvey. When Sam Alvey missed.
Yeah, when you fucking are being at. But like I said, if we implement a 3-week rule, nobody's ever asked to fill in on a day's notice ever again. That's not part of the rules. That'll never happen again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't let us know that you can't make the fight 3 weeks out, well, I guess it could happen, but you get a strike, Jack. And like I said, you motherfuckers heard of baseball, right? That's 3. We're not fucking around.
Yeah.
You had to see WME banish a couple people to Bellator for fucking life.
Listen, them to Bellator.
Paul Daly got that shit. Paul Daly will never. Fucking 3 things are certain, Jack. Death, taxes, and Paul Daly never fighting in the UFC again.
Right.
That motherfucker, I don't give a fuck how many people he knocks out.
Punch Josh Koscheck after the bell.
That's it, Jack. He fucked up for good. And if they do that with a 3 fucking strike rule and they actually fucking banish a couple people, I think, yeah, man. It might take a year or so.
For those of you who haven't seen it, you should go check it out. Just search up Paul Daly versus Josh Koscheck.
Yeah,
that was probably one of the more, because we've seen some like after the bell stuff.
Oh yeah,
that was like the most egregious one.
Yeah,
because it was like seconds after.
Yeah,
it was and he marched him down.
Yeah,
and then just punched him.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it was like super egregious. I mean, it wasn't even close. Like we've seen some chippy bell rings, punch, push,
sucker punch,
and then you push him away or whatever, like that kind of thing. No, this was bell, fight's over, Koscheck arms up celebrating, turns around, and Paul Daly just punches him in the face.
Yeah.
I mean, it was...
You know what, man? Just going down nostalgia road.
It's hilarious. I could care less, but it was funny.
Just going down nostalgia road.
Time out real quick.
Yeah.
ACB. Here's what ACB does.
Okay.
If you miss weight, and I saw this, I can't verify it. I didn't verify it, but I assume it's true because it was making its rounds on Twitter and Facebook and stuff. So apparently when someone misses weight in ACB, I never watch ACB like ever.
Me neither.
I probably should. I just don't. You already know I'm not a big Sambo fan. So, and that's like 90% of these ACB cards.
Right.
So
right.
I'm just, whatever. I'm not that interested.
Fair.
But apparently when someone misses weight, as soon as you get into the octagon, point deduction. That's how they start the fight. They start the fight by doing a point deduction if you miss weight.
What if you miss weight by 25 pounds like Gabby Garcia? They just like you're just fighting as a loss.
Well, I think something like ACB would not allow that fight.
They would go ahead and cancel that one.
Ryzen doesn't give a shit. Well, no, Ryzen canceled it, huh?
Yeah, they did. But
I think it's because Grandma.
The public outcry.
I think it's because Grandma pulled out, though, man.
That was dope, though. She went off like, she was screaming at her like Japanese.
Screaming like you dishonor and
disrespectful
hilarious,
whore.
Man. You disrespectful whore.
That was great. What are we talking about?
You're talking about nostalgia.
Oh, ACB. No, yeah. So yeah, no, I could dig that, a point deduction. I mean, listen, I think that's still a little not really, because what the fuck? If I get to come in fucking filling hammer time and I'm planning on knocking you out anyways, take that point, motherfucker. If I don't win the,
but it's twofold. One, you get a purse deduction.
True.
You still get a purse deduction.
Fair. That matters.
And then that purse money should be going to your opponent.
Right.
So there you go. Not to the fucking athletic commission. Why does the athletic commission need my
stupid.
Whatever?
Yeah,
it's always been a dumb rule.
That's really stupid too.
You should get and instead of 20%, up it to 30%. Right. Even a little bit more money.
Yeah, sure.
Go to 30%. You can't win a fight bonus. And shit. Maybe even you can't even get a win bonus.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it has to be strict, man, or people will continue to do it, man.
I agree.
We need
just make rules. The punishment really intense.
Yeah. That's the only.
Seriously.
And even at that point, you will have motherfuckers. Look, man,
it's the same thing. It's the same thing in the criminal justice system, right?
The whole point of that's where I was going.
Not the whole point, but there are a couple theorems when it comes to the criminal justice system about recidivism and this and that, right? And one of the theorems is that make punishments intense. And listen, right now, I am not anti-gun. We've had this discussion.
Sure.
I'm a pretty liberal person,
right.
But I'm not anti-gun by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
I don't own a gun, but I'm not anti-gun. However, I truly believe that if you commit a crime and there is a gun present, whether the gun is legally owned or not, if you shoplift and you have a gun on you, 10 years.
Fair enough.
10 years.
Right.
I don't care. I don't care if you shoplifted on accident. I mean, listen. Again, you run into the same problems where it's like you walk out of a store with the thing of water underneath.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
you had your concealed carry, and now you're getting 10 years in prison. That's fucking crazy.
Sure.
So I understand there has to be exceptions. But listen, if you walk into a store, if you walk into a store and you and this dude, reaches for the same toy at the same time, and you punch that dude in the face and take the toy, and they arrest you for assault, and you have a gun on you, you're getting 10 years in fucking prison, man.
Right.
You're getting 10 years in prison because if you're going to be carrying a gun around with you, punishment should be stiff. I guarantee you, if you started making armed robbery, it's life.
Right.
Mandatory life. You walk into a gas station, you hold a gun at someone's face and make them give you money. When you are arrested, you are not going to prison for 5 years. You're spending the rest of your natural-born life behind bars. I guarantee you, over the course of a decade, you're going to see gun crime drop dramatically.
I agree.
So make punishments intense, and it keeps... In Germany, you get a DUI, bro, they don't fuck around.
Yeah.
Nobody gets DUIs in Germany.
Yeah.
Because it's like 5 years mandatory in prison.
Right.
I mean, it's nuts.
I do agree with you, but I was just going to make the point that I think that...
You get a DUI in America? They don't...
Sure, well, yeah, that's why people do it.
$5,000 fine and go like probation and go along your way. But that's why people do it.
I think that also... you're always going to have people that are going to take those risks, though, man. That was my point. But you're
definitely going to curtail it.
Sure.
And that's all we can do.
That was my point with
the point of laws is not to stop crime,
right?
Because you can't. It's impossible.
Exactly. That is my point. Yeah.
You're trying to make it as less as possible.
Yeah, if you fucking get caught with a kilo of heroin or shit, even probably like a couple ounces of heroin, you're probably going to get fucking 10 to 20 years in prison.
10 years,
yeah, I mean maybe more than that. I mean heroin's a big deal, right? You get caught with a kilo, you get fucking caught with 10, 20 ounces of heroin, you're fucking bye birdie.
If you get caught with coke, you're fine. If you get caught with crack,
it's a whole different story.
Lights out.
Right. The point is, you could get caught with enough drugs to fit right here on this table in a small little package and be gone forever.
Yep.
And there are people all over this fucking country that got those drugs in their basement right now and are risking pretty much life in prison for, some type of glory, for goals of some kind. So you're never, ever going to. There will always be steroid users. There will always be people that don't make the weight.
People pulling out of fights.
Always. Nothing will ever change that. But to your point, if you get very severe with it, I think you see those numbers come down.
It is just so intense. In the last 2 years, I mean, it has just been. It's insane. The amount of pullouts we've had.
I really think Khabib is the man to look at. He just did it. He has universally his whole career.
He's not the first person. I mean, a lot of guys.
He's the most current guy
who's had a lot of problems cutting weight,
and we just
got a lot of
shit
from the public,
and we just seen him make it and look good and perform good and say that he felt well and say that he did it because he done everything right. God damn it! Right there's the proof in the pudding. 98% of you cocksuckers are Khabib. You're not doing something right, and you're trying to fit in a weight division that you don't belong in. And listen, if you don't want to do the right things, that's cool too. Move the fuck up. Robert Whittaker did it. Frank Yeager's done it his whole career. You'll be fine. And if you're too small and you can't move up and you're not disciplined enough to make weight, then go fuck yourself. You don't belong to be in the big fights.
Johnny Hendricks moves up in weight, then misses again.
Hey, man.
He didn't just move up in weight. He moved up 15 pounds.
Speaking of that, that's what I was going to do. Quick trip down fucking memory lane. Shout out to Josh Koscheck. Some of you younger fans that might have came into the sport a little late might look at Josh Koscheck and think he's a loudmouth shitbird.
Are you giving him a shout out because he made his Bellator? Was it debut?
Yeah.
He got knocked out.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, yeah. I am.
It's like a nobody.
I am. Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Exactly. Though that's exactly right. Because if you see these last few fights, you see him getting knocked out, and you're like, oh, you forget. Dude, Josh Koscheck used to be an animal. Paul Daly, he held down. The reason that Paul Daly sucker punched him is because Josh Koscheck used him like a baby.
He used to get people's
He held him
too,
down
man.
and talked in his ear.
He kept getting
be like,
heads.
fuck you, I'll fuck your mother. And just held him there. Like Paul Daly could do nothing. Dude, Josh Koscheck has a win over Anthony Johnson. Now, I know Anthony Johnson was killing himself to make 170, but goddamn it, he was making the weight, he was hydrating the fuck up afterwards, and he still hit like a killer. Look at some of his knockouts from when he was at 170. He was still knocking people the fuck out, and Josh Koscheck fucking used and abused fucking AJ. Sure. He used to be an animal. Yeah, just, fucking quick trick down memory. I kind of forgot how good Josh Koscheck used to be, so thinking about that Paul Daly fight.
Just to answer your question earlier, I was looking up something on my phone. And listen, people just fall, man. People just fall.
Go fuck you. Go fuck yourself. That's in Japan.
It's a gift.
That's not real.
That is not a Japanese woman in the slightest.
Was it not?
It's a white woman.
What was hoes looking like?
Oh man, it was definitely a white woman for sure.
All those pale hoes.
It's hilarious. Okay, next piece of news we should get to. Jimmy Smith. Jimmy Smith has signed with the UFC. Not a friend, obviously, but someone I've interviewed multiple times. And in fact, one of our interviews was a really cool one, man. We actually talked for like over an hour.
Yep.
We went into like, man, anything and everything. He used to be a teacher. We were talking about that. And we, I don't know, man. It was just a really awesome interview. It was probably one of my favorite interviews I've done. So go back and you guys can check those out. But he will. I texted him and we basically said, all right, when everything kind of settles down, like let's chat. And I got a chance to meet him too when I did the Bellator event in Chicago. So yeah, good dude. Could not be any more excited for him. I think that Bellator. We haven't talked about this either, have we?
Big John
going to Bellator.
Yeah. That
to be part of the commentating. I love it. I think both people got better ends of the deal. Listen, I think both people made out. I think this was one of the kind of rare situations where I don't think Big John working for the UFC would have been as good as Big John working for Bellator. And I don't think that Jimmy Smith was getting the type of exposure that he kind of deserves. He's such an interesting personality. He's so fun to listen to. And now he's going over to the UFC. I just think they both made out, man. I think Bellator and the UFC got got positive things.
I dig what you're saying.
Sure.
I think Big John made out, and I think Jimmy Smith made out, and the UFC made out. I think Bellator took a slight hit. They lost Jimmy Smith. They lost their best comment. They lost their Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
that's their flagship.
I know, but you remember, man. They got Ranello over there. Yeah. You got Josh Thompson's pretty good at this kind of stuff. I'm not a big fan, but I understand when people like him on mic. But nevertheless, let's not even talk about Josh Thompson. You got Ranello, you got Goldie, and now you got Big John, who's going to be probably really, really good.
Here's my problem with that, though, man. I think
imagine Big John and Goldie sitting next to each other.
That's the problem, though, right? I don't know if I love that.
Oh, I love it.
I don't think I do. I think I
love that more than Jimmy Smith and either person.
See, I don't think so. I like Jimmy Smith's dynamic there with them because I feel like he fucking.
And Chael, remember too. Yeah. Chael is also.
Chael's interesting. I like Chael.
I think at the end of the day, once this whole dumb Grand Prix thing is over with,
he's just going to commentate.
He's going to commentate.
Yeah, probably
he's going to commentate for Bellator.
Probably so.
And he's going to be really fucking awesome because he's already awesome at it.
Yeah,
so imagine him doing
Chael.
full events.
Yeah, so with Jimmy Smith going to the UFC, what is there to not like about that, right? I think that's.
I'm surprised
great.
that no one's picked up Robin Black.
Yeah, I know that.
I'm still
at least for
surprised by
fucking like the Fox breakdowns. And
yeah,
shit
man.
Like that. But yeah, shout out to Jimmy Smith. That's great.
I think they both made out. I think the UFC made out. I think Bellator made out.
I do not think Bellator
I think
made
Big
out.
John is such a perfect addition to Bellator.
See, but here's the problem, though, man. I don't know how great he's going to be at
I think you're going to be
commentating.
shocked.
Listen, I'm gonna let you know something. I had kind of forgot this myself.
Sure.
I watched the MMA Hour this week.
Okay.
Or no, I'm sorry, the MMA Beat.
Sure.
And Ariel Helwani refreshed my memory to Big John commentating. He has commentated before.
Now, how long ago?
Listen, it's been a while ago. It's been a while, but probably. Let's see, what he commentated for Affliction.
Oh God!
Yeah, I mean
okay,
that was about 7
your first
to 9
problem.
years ago. Well, listen though, I mean it wasn't fucking back in '82. I mean it wasn't that long ago. And I think that Big John will be okay. I think he'll get better, but I think losing somebody like Jimmy Smith and gaining somebody who's never really done the job before,
it's a much more risky.
He's got like a fucking Donald Trump of fucking MMA commentating. He just comes out of left field. He did some other shit that he was really good at. He's like, hey, I'll be good with this, and we're all like, probably, I guess.
Now that's a good point. So what your point is that Bellator's taking on a lot more risk.
Sure.
UFC is basically taking no risk.
Well, no, but yeah,
you already know that Jimmy Smith is great on mic.
Yeah.
You already know he's going to be perfectly fine.
For sure.
And there's been a lot of talk that Joe Rogan is going to be moving on from this.
Right.
And boom, Jimmy Smith is going to just plop right in there.
And whereas we're talking about the other people that they have at Bellator, the UFC's got the creme de la creme, man. They've got Dominic Cruz in DC and people
John
that can
Anik.
and John Anik, people that can plug
Why
in
do
around.
people hate John Anik?
I don't
Do you
know.
hate John Anik?
No.
But I like him a lot.
You know what, man? To be honest with you,
I got
man,
no problems.
There's not a lot of people I hate on the mic. I mean, I think
DC's great.
Yeah.
I think Dominic Cruz is flawless.
Yeah.
Like
I never have
Anik.
much of a
The only guy that I don't like, and I hardly ever hear him because I don't ever watch commentary, is that fucking the guy that was from ESPN or some shit. What's his name? The new guy. It's like one of the newest guys.
Yeah. I forget
What's
his
that guy's name?
I forget, but I know you're talking about.
I can't stand him.
Yeah.
He was a really famous guy, too, when they brought him in.
Yeah, he's just from a different sport.
I just can't stand him. That's like my least favorite.
But most of those guys are just fine. And so I think you nailed it there, though.
Yeah.
Jimmy Smith going to the UFC, that's a no-brainer. That's an easy one.
And you also know that I'm not a big fan of Paul Felder, too.
Yeah.
But I did like him a lot better.
Yeah, he wasn't bad.
He's gotten a lot better.
For sure.
Yves Edwards, too. He does some.
I don't love
Also
Yves.
not a fan.
I don't love Yves. I'm going to be honest with you.
Also not
but
a fan.
Fist being in most of them, man, most of the guys that they pick to do those jobs are kind of Chael Sonnen-esque. They're really fucking good at it. So there'll be plenty of guys for Jimmy Smith to work his way around at the UFC for sure. That's
He'll do a good job.
That's a slam dunk. Big John going to Bellator is interesting. We'll see how that plays out. One thing I'll give Bellator is they're taking some risks. They're willing to shake some things up. They're doing this heavyweight Grand Prix. They bring in Big John.
They are willing, and they also bring in a lot of these, Aaron Pico types, and that guy, that wrestler Ed Ruth.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
They're willing to bring these people in.
They're willing to take some chances, man. I think they're definitely here for the long haul. Like it seems like they're and like I said, they're willing to take some fucking risky chances, man. Some of this shit is the heavyweight Grand Prix. I can see how a lot of people would
a bunch of old people fighting each other. This isn't going to go well.
Dudes that aren't even heavyweights.
I just watched UFC 3 because we just recorded that episode.
Right.
And let me just let everybody know kind of how UFC 3 goes. The two people who so Hoist Gracie walks to the octagon and quits before the fight starts.
Yep.
So they get an alternate. Ken Shamrock fights an alternate, wins the fight, gets into the finals, pulls out of the fight. So a guy who had not fought before goes and never fought in the UFC, was an alternate who didn't fight that night, goes into the last fight against a guy who had a bloodbath in his first fight.
Yep, I remember this.
And then he wins. I can't remember the guy's name now.
It was a shitbird.
It was a shitbird. He wins in a minute and a half.
It's one of those trivia questions like, who won UFC 3? And you're like, Hoist Gracie. Like,
no,
like,
it was
it was Ken Shamrock. They're like, no, like, get the fuck out of here. Who would it have been? It's like J.R. Rawlings.
Yeah, I know, right? I can't remember the guy's name, but yeah. So when you do stuff like this, it just. I mean, obviously, no one's fighting multiple times in one night, but this is just this has an alternate fighting an alternate in the finals written all over it. A guy who is not in it right now is going to fight a guy who's not in it right now, and that's how we're going to finish 2018. I mean, that's just how it's going to happen.
This is a heavyweight Grand Prix in which the first fight of the heavyweight Grand Prix is
a
Rampage,
middleweight and a lightweight.
Rampage Jackson versus Chael Sonnen. That should sum up this whole heavyweight. But you know what, though? I can't front, man. I'm here for it.
I'm excited.
I'm down for it,
I can't wait to watch it.
I can't wait to watch it play out.
I'm certainly not watching it during 220. That was dumb for Bellator.
That's right. That's right.
As soon as Bellator learned, not the same weekend, the same day,
time,
same day and time.
Yeah,
that's dumb. As soon as Bellator learned that, they should have moved it.
And then, so how do you feel about them putting Rampage Chael as the main event over Rory and Douglas Lima? You don't care?
I could give a shit less. Are you outraged?
I'm not outraged.
I see all these motherfuckers who are outraged by it.
I'm not outraged.
There is oodles of precedent for having a title fight below a non-title fight. It's happened multiple times.
Yeah. But I okay, sure. I'm not outraged by it, and I definitely understand that it happens a lot. But this one did kind of seem like an obvious. That's a stupid move, even for entertainment value. I can almost bet my left nut.
I don't know if it is. Listen, Chael Sonnen also headlined the pay-per-view.
Yeah, and I did not see that, but from what I hear, it was not the greatest fight in the world.
Well,
Chael Sonnen,
it was bizarre.
Chael Sonnen ain't been involved in an entertaining fight in the month of Sundays since Tito Ortiz submitted him. I mean, I think that Chael Sonnen Rampage could be interesting, and it could be a shit show, man.
Oh, of course it will.
So I think Douglas Lima, Rory McDonald, for sure fireworks. One way or the other, somebody's going to get hurt in that fight. I think that's your main event. It's your championship fight. It's almost nothing's guaranteed in this sport, but it's almost guaranteed fireworks. Rampage Chael might be perfect co-main. It's the perfect co-main.
My guess is that the only way to get Chael Sonnen to fight
is making the main event.
It had to be in his contract. That's my guess.
That's interesting.
He has to main event.
That's interesting.
That's my best guess.
Maybe, but because they just changed it, right? Why would they even like? Why would they? It seemed like they just
did. They just change it?
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure.
I thought that people had just caught on. I thought that it had always. Well, I just assumed that was the main event this entire time.
No, I always
thought
because
it's the Grand Prix. I figured whatever the Grand Prix fight would be the headliner.
That's
because
a good point
it's a Grand Prix.
Because it's the
whole point
a good
of the
point.
thing.
I guess that's a good point. I guess it's almost like everyone's a championship fight.
Guess what? It's also Bellator. So I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
I don't care what they do.
That's true.
Who gives a shit?
At the end of the day, like,
listen, if Rory McDonald didn't want to be a part of that debauchery, then stay in the fucking UFC where you belong.
That's true.
Whatever, man. You left the UFC. You went over to Bellator. This is the kind of shit that Bellator does.
That's true.
Then don't participate in it. Listen, I love Bellator. I think Bellator is a lot of fun. I love what they do. I love them taking risks, as you talked about.
Right.
I love that they're not the UFC. Bellator is not the UFC. They approach things very differently, and some things are worse, some things are better.
They're not trying to be either.
But they're not trying to be the UFC,
which is smart. Which is
very,
smart.
very smart.
Yeah,
and so
it's working. What they're doing,
yeah, sure, it's going perfectly fine.
Because listen, they can't fight the UFC heads
No,
up.
if
They
you
can't
try to, you're not going to win.
Oh God, you'll get smashed. You'll end up on Dana's tombstone.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that what they're doing is the smart thing. Try to get in some fucking some good talent, but definitely make the freak shows. I mean, because like I said, I'm a hardcore MMA head. I think that heavyweight tournament's a disgrace. But God damn it, I'll be there.
I'll be watching it.
Most certainly watch it.
I will be watching this fight the next day because I'm obviously watching 220. It's not even a question.
Well, yeah.
And I'm not pulling up 2 TVs. I don't give that much.
You know
shit.
what? I will say though, to be completely honest with you, 220 is pretty trashy up to the co-main event.
Get out of here!
Get the fuck out. The
right,
card.
Let's pull it up.
From the co-main event down. Go fuck yourself.
Listen,
220 is pretty fucking haggard. From the co-main. Now, the co-main and the main are worth the price of entry alone. Obviously, like that.
Now, I remember liking the card T to B. I remember not having an issue liking the card T to B. Let's see. Obviously, Stipe Ngannou. Right. Obviously, Cormier Ozdemir.
Sure.
Jesus Christ, it's not even a question.
There you go. Right? Yeah.
All right.
All the biggest, baddest, heaviest dudes on the planet.
Cater Burgos. That is a really awesome fight. However, it is a hardcore fight.
Sure.
No one has any idea who those two people are.
Sure.
Even a lot of hardcore fans.
Absolutely.
But allow me to let you know, if you don't know those two guys, that's going to be a fantastic fight.
Right. I do agree.
Vellante Barroso, I could literally give a shit less.
Yeah.
Why is that on the main event? Why is that on the main card?
Vellante's fun, I suppose. There's that. But listen, I agree with you. I agree.
He's fun.
I mean, he's a fun fighter to watch.
Have you looked at your phone? It's not 2009. It is 2017.
Well, who did he fight? He had a fun fight his last fight out.
Okay, fuck.
I agree with you. I agree with you. God damn it. He should not be on the main card. This is my point. God damn it.
Last fight on the main card. Last fight on the main card is Thomas Almeida, Rob Font.
Okay.
Arguably that would be a co-main, or that could even main event a fight pass card.
Yeah, I actually would move the Cater fight and throw that right there.
Me
as
as well.
Co-main.
That's
really,
probably really good.
In my opinion, I think you might surprise me, but I think that's, in my opinion, the third best fight on this card.
Okay. And then we have this, I believe his name is Mike Davis. Let me look. No, it's Brandon Davis, fought in the Contender Series, fighting Kyle Bochniak. Okay. Yeah. That's just a fight.
I mean, yeah, you know.
Homasi fighting Alassane. It's just a fight. I'm excited to see Alassane again,
sure.
That's just a fight. Dustin Ortiz fighting Pantoja.
That'll
That's actually a good fight because it's, these are Pantoja is a guy who can potentially be something. We haven't had a chance to. He's fought Neil Seary and Eric Shelton.
Right.
He won the first fight against Eric Shelton by split. Very, very close fight and not all that interesting.
Sure.
And I kind of think that Eric Shelton won. And then he submits Neil Seary, which basically means
he can fight
nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it means he knows how to perform submissions.
Yeah. Okay, then you have two guys who are on the Contender Series fighting each other.
There you go, right.
Julio Ars and Dan. Yeah, I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
Then you have Matt Bessette fighting Enrique Bazzola. Matt Bessette getting his. I love the fight because I'm a big fan of CES, but as far as it's concerned, I mean, it's just a fight.
Right.
It doesn't mean anything. Moraes is taking on Jamie Moyle. Again, that's just a fight. And Islam Makhachev fighting Tip. All right. Touche, my friend.
I think you might be mistaking tonight's card. The prelims on tonight's card is dope.
Okay, let me look.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the thing. Which actually, I can fuck with that first fight too. Gleison Tibau is 197 years old, but Islam Makhachev.
Yeah, so I agree. That is really not that fancy of a card.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, so here's our main card for tonight.
Oh my God, yeah, this is dope. Okay.
Let's not spend too much time on this because, again, people are going to be listening to this episode probably after.
Right.
Jeremy Stevens, Duo Choi, Paige Van Zandt, Jessica Rose Clark, Kamar Usman, Emil Meek, Darren Eccles, Michael Johnson. That's fantastic.
Yep.
James Krause, Alex White, fantastic fight. Yep. Frivola versus Reyes, sure. The Aldana chick fighting Bernardo, sure. Kang versus Canelli, sure. Faria fighting sure. Taylor Aldrich, sure. Bernal Santiago, that's actually just kind of a sleeper fight. That's going to be a really good fight.
Well, and
also fighting Mike Santiago.
We were supposed to have the Zach Cummings fight and the Vitor Belfort fight on
both
this
of those
card
got kicked off.
Right, and that's not like.
So there's 3 fight pass. There's 4 FS1, and there's a 5. No. Why did we go back? Why did that just happen to me? Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, we have a 4-fight main card, a 4-fight FS1, and a 3-fight prelim.
Right.
Whatever. I'll take it.
Yeah,
It's perfectly fine.
I think that, I think the undercard on this card is way better than the one for 220.
Oh, listen, I think I agree with you.
But that
I don't know if way better is.
yeah, true,
I mean,
true.
but it's
better.
I would say that 220 definitely struggles outside of the main event and co-main.
Yeah, but they got us by the short and curlies there, don't
Man,
they? Because
main
those
and
two are
co-main are
so good. Like,
fantastic.
who's not? If you're a fan of the sport, like, I mean, you're gonna. You know what though? To take on maybe a bigger conversation with this whole thing, this may be WME testing the boxing theory on us.
Yeah, just
Being like, yo, if we put one or two really, really compelling fights at the top of a card, how much shit can we feed in after that?
Yeah, how many 10 and 10 fights can we throw on this
Yep.
card?
See how many
Save some money.
Yeah, maybe. And I mean, if we turn out in droves for this fight, because I mean, honestly, let's be honest. Like, Stipe's never really connected with anybody outside of Ohio, and Francis is just now kind of starting to really get a push from the public.
Give me your official. Okay, let's do this because this will definitely be something that most people should listen to before 220.
Sure.
So let's just go ahead and do this. Upcoming events. By the way, I'm using UFC.com. All right. UFC 220, Saturday, January 20th, 2018. Your main event, Stipe Miocic, Francis Ngannou. Prediction. Don't go into detail, just prediction. You can say the winner. You can say the winner plus something. Is there any chance that fight goes 5 rounds?
Of course.
Okay.
I doubt it.
I apologize. Is it above 50% that fight goes 5 rounds?
I doubt it.
Okay.
I doubt it. I mean,
I would say there is a 3% chance that goes 5 rounds.
Here's the deal, right? I think that
Who wins?
There's a 90% chance that one of these two gentlemen get knocked out in the first round or two.
Yeah.
If it makes it to the third round, I think the chances of it going 5 increases dramatically.
Yeah, because
The
then
first-
no one's swinging.
Yeah, right. And you've taken a couple. I think that it's like the first few shots is what really catch people. Like, if you can eat a few shots and really get into the dogfight, by the time you get to the third round and you both kind of crack each other a few times, it seems like both guys are a little awake and they're a little harder to knock out. In the first round, especially with heavyweight fights, those shots that are kind of out of nowhere that they don't see coming that just fucking murdered over him. Could he? Okay, so look, prediction. I hate to do this, and I'm not going to go into great detail. I have to pick Francis Ngannou. I think that he will clip Stipe in the first round.
I'm going to pick
and
him
knock
too.
him out.
I'm picking Ngannou too, man.
It sucks, man. Two Ohio boys. Where's our
well,
fucking?
it's just-
I hope Stipe wins. I hope, and I love Francis, but Stipe's
I hope
an Ohio
Francis
guy.
wins. I hope
Stipe
Francis wins because I think it's better for the sport. No offense to Stipe, but Ngannou is just, if he wins this fight, I mean, he starts coming into McGregor. Listen, if everybody listening to this really wants McGregor to chill the fuck out, let Ngannou become a big star. All of a sudden, Conor McGregor, you know what I mean? People start talking about him less and less and less and less and less, and that dude's going to come back into the sport, and he's going to... Listen, if Ngannou's name absolutely blows up...
Yeah, but listen, let's be honest here. I like Ngannou. His story's cute, but he's not quite Conor.
If he wins this fight, he is going to blow up.
Well, yeah, but not Conor ways.
I
don't think so.
Listen, I think he absolutely can. And it's not because listen, you don't just need shit talk. It's not just that.
No, I know.
The reason why he can blow up is because there's this mystique.
Sure.
You know what I mean? He doesn't even really speak English. There is just this like, what the fuck are you going to do to this guy? Like, every time he fights, it's just going to be this like,
but
what are you supposed to do?
That's the slow build. That'll take.
Not if he becomes champion. Not if he knocks out Stipe.
Yeah, but come on, man. How many people know who the fuck Stipe is? Like Conor, worldwide people know who that guy is now. I get what you're saying. Conor's just a far reach. And
I understand.
Ngannou can get there. You're right.
I'm saying for sake of conversation. For sake of conversation.
For sure.
I think Ngannou can blow up.
He could.
Let's move on down. Cormier versus Ozdemir.
I find this one a lot more easy to predict.
Me too.
I think DC steamrolls it.
Court, please, thank you, Fred.
Yeah,
Fred, shake my goddamn hand.
Yeah, no, I mean because at
But
first,
listen, but I also keep doubting Ozdemir.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
Look,
I'll probably be wrong again.
Make no mistake about it. Could Ozdemir be for real and clip DC and knock him out? Fucking A. Sure, he's a big fucking strong Swede. But I drank the Kool-Aid too, man. For a minute, I'm like, oh my god, man, he might knock DC out, blah, blah. And he could. But I forgot that he had went the distance with OSP. Yeah. How easily we forget. I remember those last 2 knockouts like everybody. Then I got to looking through his record. I'm like, wait a minute. He went the distance. I went back to Fight Pass and found that fight. Listen, Ozdemir won the fight, but he didn't knock out OSP. If you don't knock DC out, you are fucked.
He's a hard dude to knock out.
Oh, God, he's listen, John Jones on steroids. It took John Jones on steroids to knock DC out.
Kick him in the fucking chin.
Yeah, and look, DC still made it to what? Like round 3 of that fight? Yeah, I mean, DC
looked good up until then.
Exactly. And DC's an animal.
Last fight I want to get your prediction for, Thomas Almeida or Rob Font?
God damn, man. Probably Almeida. I hate to kind of do that.
Had Rob Font not just lost, I would be all in on Rob Font here because that was my guy. That was the dude that I was like riding. I was grabbing that dude's coattails and going to the top.
Right.
And then he lost, and he lost in kind of devastating fashion. So it kind of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm still going to go Rob Font, but man, there's a lot of question marks there that weren't there before.
Yeah.
But I think Cody Stamann, who just got booked to fight Brian Caraway, I believe Stamann is the real deal. That's the next guy whose coattails. There's 2 guys who I'm still holding on to. It's Gregor Gillespie, even though now there's some question marks there too. It's Gregor Gillespie, and it's Rob Font, and it's more so above the other 2. It's Cody Stamann. Those are my 3 guys. I'm still holding on to them. I still think one of those 3 can be champions. Those are my guys.
You know who I actually like, man? Ironically enough, we're going to watch him fight in a few hours. The Korean Superboy. I really like Doo Ho Choi, man. I blows that he's got to go spend 2 years in the fucking military at some point after this year. But we'll see.
Yeah.
If he can knock out Jeremy Stevens tonight, that's a big
one,
deal.
man.
And I think he can.
That's a big name to put on your record there.
Fucking A.
Fred, always a good time,
Mr.
man.
Kyle.
Same time next week?
You betcha.
Awesome.